My name is Germain Castellanos. I did my year of service with AmeriCorps in Waukegan, Illinois, which is just north of Chicago, just outside the Great Lakes Naval Base. I don't know if anybody knows about it. Yeah. Okay, so there. I grew up in a neighborhood that was poverty-stricken community, gangs, crime, violence, and other symptoms of poverty. And my parents, they came from Mexico, so I learned from my father how to serve. Right, he told me the story of how he crossed the desert, from the Mexican border into the U.S. and how the struggles were, right, and he even told me how he learned to speak English. Right, he told me that he learned to speak English by watching John Wayne movies hours on end and Richard Pryor records. If you can picture that. So he was one of the only people in our community who knew English, right? His version of it. And so people would come over to our house and he would read correspondences. He would read letters that came from the city or from from government. And, and he would help people in that way. So that showed me a certain way to serve. One of his advice was, he said, mijo, which is a affectionate term to say, son, if you work really hard and you do your job, you could be a supervisor in a factory one day. And I said, wow, I can be a supervisor in a factory one day. And that's what he thought was, the top career that I could aspire to. And growing up in the type of neighborhood that I grew up in, I saw that, as being the top. However, I learned through my service with AmeriCorps that there's other ways to serve. There's other ways to break the cycle of poverty, and that's how I did my service. I helped young people that were 16 to 24 get their GEDs so they can go on to post-secondary education and the military. I helped them train for jobs and learn the soft skills that they needed in order to to go on and get a real job in a career, and help them focus on what they wanted to do and how they wanted to serve their communities. We gave them opportunities to serve by cleaning out ravines and picking up garbage, and and doing Red Cross presentations, and doing specific things that help them create ownership in their communities. And that's how I did my year of service. I continued on with working with at-risk youth, as I was one myself. And during my year of service, it was not just a year of service, it was a year of transformation, right? I was in a gang. I went to youth detention. I went through the school of hard knocks, and then I learned that I could channel that energy through service and give back, like how I saw my father give back to his community in the way that I know how to. So I learned that, and the quote that I chose, my life has been sprinkled with failure, success, failure, grit, adversity, and leadership through service, and that's what service means to me. I have a quote by Maya Angelou. It says, "There's a charge you have, a charge, and the charge is one to make the country more than it is today, more than what James Baldwin called these yet to be United States. It's part of your charge to make this world a better world, to take responsibility for the time you take up and the space you occupy. Your charge is to realize you've already been paid for, whether the ancestors came from Eastern Europe, trying to escape the pogroms, the little and large murders, arriving at Ellis Island, having their names changed to something utterly unpronounceable. If the ancestors came from Asia in the 1850s to build this country, unable to legally bring their mates for decades, or if the ancestors came from anywhere in Europe, from Ireland, from Greece, from Italy, if they came from anywhere, from Bangalore, if they came from Bengali, if they came from Africa, unwilling, lying, spoon fashion in their filthy hatchets of slave ships and in their own, and if others' excrement, urine, menstrual flow, they have paid for each of you, each of us already. So part of what your charge is to pay for someone else who's yet to come. This is your encouragement. This is also your charge. Young men and women, we need you." That's the quote. My challenge was to serve. I challenge you to think creatively over the next couple days to figure how can you help, how can you serve, how can you help create these opportunities that that young Americans need, that old Americans need to give back, to be able to give back. Thank you.